The 2026 Nissan Rogue is walking a dangerous tightrope between being one of the best compact SUVs you can buy and one you should absolutely avoid. If you're shopping for a family crossover and feel overwhelmed by too many choices that all seem the same, the Rogue is going to either solve all your problems or create new ones you never saw coming. The Rogue goes all in on luxury and efficiency, but completely abandons any pretense of being fun to drive. And there's one mechanical issue that could haunt you for years. We're going to start with the positives, with all those features that make the Rogue a serious contender in the compact SUV segment. Number 5. Efficient powertrain. Watching your fuel gauge drop while gas prices keep climbing is frustrating, especially when you're just trying to get through your weekly commute without breaking the bank. That's where the 2026 Rogue's powertrain becomes a real asset. The 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine delivers around 201 horsepower and 225 pound-feet of torque, providing responsive acceleration for merging onto highways without feeling underpowered. But here's what's going to matter most to your wallet. This engine sips fuel rather than gulps it. You're looking at approximately 30 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on the highway, and those numbers add up fast. Most competitors force you to choose between adequate power and decent fuel economy, but the Rogue manages to deliver both. Therefore, if you're tired of watching your paycheck disappear at the pump, this powertrain is going to give you exactly the efficiency you need. Now, fuel efficiency is great, but it doesn't mean much if your vehicle looks like every other crossover in the parking lot, which brings us to the next standout feature. Number 4. Attractive appearance packages. The problem with most mainstream crossovers, they all blend together into forgettable designs, but Nissan is taking a different approach with the Rogue. The standard model already looks sharp, but the appearance packages are where things get interesting. The Platinum package brings exclusive 20-inch wheels, chrome accents, and unique lighting elements that transform the Rogue into something that looks premium. There's also the Midnight Edition package with blacked-out trim, dark wheels, and an aggressive stance. Therefore, you're not stuck with a generic design. Most rivals force you to buy the most expensive trim just to get better styling, but Nissan's approach gives you flexibility without draining your bank account. Of course, looking good on the outside is one thing, but if the driving experience leaves you exhausted after every trip, none of that matters, which is why the ride quality deserves special attention. Number 3. Smooth and comfortable ride. Nothing ruins a road trip faster than a stiff, jarring ride that leaves you exhausted after just a couple of hours behind the wheel. That's a problem too many modern crossovers have. They're tuned for sporty handling but sacrifice the comfort you actually need. Nissan took the opposite approach with the Rogue, and it's going to make a huge difference. The suspension is tuned to prioritize comfort, soaking up bumps, potholes, and rough pavement with ease. But what really sets the Rogue apart are the seats. In higher trims, Nissan includes its zero-gravity seat design, which is engineered to reduce fatigue by distributing pressure more evenly across your body. Therefore, even after hours of driving, you're going to step out feeling far less drained than you would in most competitors. So the Rogue rides beautifully, but a smooth ride means nothing if you're struggling with outdated technology or worrying about safety, which is where the next feature becomes critical. Number 2. Tech features. Dealing with outdated technology in your vehicle is frustrating, especially when your smartphone is more advanced than your car's infotainment system. But even more concerning is feeling vulnerable on the road because your SUV lacks modern safety features. The 2026 Rogue eliminates both problems. The SUV comes packed with technology that used to be reserved for luxury vehicles, including a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and a 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard along with wireless charging. The Pro Pilot Assist system offers adaptive cruise control, lane-keeping assistance, and hands-free highway driving capabilities. Therefore, those exhausting highway trips become significantly less stressful. The technology is impressive, but if you think that's good, wait until you see what Nissan has done with the cabin space and luxury, because that's where the Rogue truly pulls ahead. Number 1. Spacious and luxurious. Cramped interiors and cheap-feeling materials can make every drive feel like a punishment. That's where the Rogue is going to surprise a lot of people. Both rows of seats offer generous space, with adults in the back row enjoying ample legroom and headroom that many competitors can't match. But it's not just about raw dimensions. Stepping into a well-equipped Rogue feels like entering a vehicle that costs thousands more. The materials used throughout the cabin are genuinely high quality. Soft-touch surfaces cover the dashboard, while stitched leather and metallic accents add a premium touch. Therefore, Therefore, every time you open the door, you're going to feel like you made a smart financial decision. The cargo area is where the Rogue truly impresses. You're looking at around 36 cubic feet behind the second row. Fold the rear seats down, and that jumps to over 74 cubic feet. The load floor is low and flat, making it easy to slide heavy items in and out. Most rivals sacrifice either passenger space or cargo space, but the Rogue manages to offer both. Now, those are some genuinely impressive strengths, but they don't tell the whole story. The Rogue has serious flaws that could be deal breakers, and the first one is going to frustrate anyone who actually enjoys driving. Number 3, uninspiring handling. There's a special kind of disappointment that comes from getting behind the wheel of a new vehicle and realizing it feels completely disconnected from the road. That's the experience you're going to have if driving engagement matters to you at all. The Rogue's comfortable ride comes with a significant trade-off. While it excels at soaking up bumps, it falls completely flat when you want any responsive driving experience. The suspension is tuned so softly that cornering feels vague. Body roll is noticeable when changing lanes quickly, making the experience feel more like piloting a boat than driving a nimble SUV. The steering lacks meaningful feedback. Therefore, if you enjoy spirited driving or want a crossover that feels responsive, the Rogue is going to disappoint you. The handling is disappointing, but it's manageable. What's harder to ignore is the constant noise that invades the cabin, especially on the highway, which brings us to the next major problem. Number 2, sound insulation. Imagine settling in for a long highway drive, expecting a peaceful experience only to be bombarded by constant noise that turns every trip into a tiring ordeal. That's the reality of the Rogue's poor sound insulation. At highway speeds, the cabin gets noticeably loud with wind noise seeping in around the mirrors and A-pillars. But it's not just wind noise. Road noise from the tires is also prominent, creating a constant hum that makes conversation difficult. The engine, when pushed hard, adds to the racket with a buzzy, unrefined soundtrack. Therefore, what should be a peaceful ride becomes mentally tiring over long distances. The noise is annoying, but you can live with it. What you might not be able to live with is the transmission. And this is the big one that could make or break your decision. Number 1, CVT. If you've ever driven a vehicle that feels sluggish and makes a droning sound that never matches what you're doing with the accelerator, you know how frustrating a bad CVT can be. Unfortunately, Nissan has a well-documented reputation for producing some of the worst CVTs in the industry, and the 2026 Rogue is still using this transmission. CVTs are designed to optimize fuel economy, but the driving experience suffers dramatically. Instead of smooth shifts from a traditional automatic, the Rogue's CVT produces a constant droning sound as the engine revs high without any corresponding sense of speed. Therefore, even though the Rogue has adequate power on paper, it doesn't feel that way. Passing slower traffic requires planning, and the lack of gear changes makes everything feel sluggish. But here's the much bigger problem. Nissan's CVTs have a notorious history of reliability issues. Many owners of previous generation Rogues have reported premature CVT failures, often requiring expensive repairs costing several $1,000s or complete transmission replacements. While Nissan has extended warranties on some models and claimed to have improved the design, the reputation remains severely tarnished. Therefore, even if the 2026 model turns out more reliable, buyers are understandably hesitant. So there you have it. The 2026 Nissan Rogue is a crossover of extremes. If your priorities are comfort, space, fuel efficiency, and a luxurious feel without spending luxury money, this SUV is going to check every box. But if you value engaging handling, a quiet cabin, or most importantly, a reliable transmission, the Rogue's weaknesses are going to be impossible to ignore. The spacious interior and impressive tech make it compelling, but Nissan's continued reliance on CVT technology is a gamble that could cost you thousands. But don't think that the Rogue is the only compact crossover that impresses and disappoints at the same time. If you're interested in models like the stylish Mazda CX-50, make sure to check out our video about its good and bad sides. Yes, it stands out with luxury and elegance, but there are some things about the CX-50 to have in mind when considering a purchase.